Ryan Unzicker has shared more details on how his tires were indeed stolen on Saturday morning at I-55 Federated Auto Parts Raceway Park in Peevely, Missouri, while he was competing with the World of Outlaws and the Dirt Car Summer Nationals. Roll this up over at stockcarreport.com. You can find the link in the description below. So on Saturday afternoon, Unzicker originally reported 13 tires were taken between 2 a.m. and 9 a.m. local time on Saturday morning. He wrote this on Facebook. We bought 14 used tires yesterday. They were stacked up between our toter and trailer. Someone came and took 13 of them somewhere between 2 a.m. and 9 a.m. If anyone knows who did this, please reach out. We would like to have them back. We all struggle in this sport. Don't take what's not yours. So with the belief that the implication that they were stolen, someone came over and took them. And then about an hour later, he shared an update indicating that a number of kids from the track picked up the tires and took them to a stack where they had already been picked through. However, he was able to recover one of the original tires that was taken. And he said, mystery solved. The track had kids going around, picked up tires early this morning. The problem with that is the kids must not know much about tires or what you can or can't take. You cannot take tires stacked up in between a toter and trailer or tires that are still good ones. By the time we figured out where they took the tires, they had all already been picked over. We did find one in the pile that was ours. On a good note, no one stole them. On a bad note, it was an expensive lesson, and we don't have tires we planned on using. So this was where they assumed that the tires were taken, given the fact that they found one of the tires that he had bought, one of the 13 tires that had been taken. And a comment on this post, Unzicker made it clear, if it wasn't already clear, I thought it was pretty clear anyways, but he made it clear that the tires were not left anywhere where someone might believe they were junk tires. You have this guy, Kevin Sonquist, here saying maybe as racers, they shouldn't be constantly leaving old junk tires for the racetrack to clean up and take their old tires with them and discard them in the proper place. Maybe this wouldn't happen. And Unzicker reiterated what he already posted. It's a 2-day show. Our tires were not left anywhere. They were in between our toter and trailer, stacked up nicely in 2 piles. We just bought them here yesterday, and we're going to load them up tonight after the races. As for our old ones, we don't leave them at tracks. We either sell them or use them at the truck shop. So then in another post on Saturday night, he wrote this. Okay, everyone, we thought our tires were stolen, so we put a post out there hoping to find out who took them. Then a kid came to us and said they picked them up and threw them in a pile out back, pointed the post. When we went out back to try and find them, they had been picked over. We found one, but the rest were gone. This wasn't a post to bash the track. It was to try and find our tires. So we now have a new update, and he's posted this. You can see this here. He's added this post, this edit post here. He's added this update to both this post here, where he was addressing people criticizing the track, believing that the track had sent out these kids to take the tires. And then he also added it to this one here as well, where again, he said that the track had sent out these kids to pick up the tires. However, that is not the case whatsoever, because this is what he posted in that update right here. He says, yesterday we were told the kids were track workers picking up tires. Today we got a call saying the track didn't know anything about the kids and didn't hire them. When we left this morning, there were tires and no kids. So he posted this around Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern time, the edit on there. So he's talking about leaving on Sunday after, obviously, the race at I-55 at Peevely. Looks like we were all outsmarted, but they were seen by others loading tires on a 4-wheeler around 8 a.m. Eventually, it will catch up to them. Hopefully, this will bring attention and it won't happen to anyone else. Thank you for trying to make this right when you didn't have to. We appreciate, obviously, referring to the track right there. So, obviously, the tires were indeed stolen. His initial insinuation, his initial assumption was true. The tires were indeed stolen. It seems like they were stolen by these kids who, I guess, left one of the tires in this pick'em pile to make Unzicker think that they had been picked through, and they didn't actually get picked through. They actually did indeed steal the tires and drove off with them. And then I guess maybe they sent one of these kids to say like that's where they were. Or maybe he got a tip from someone who might have seen these kids doing that and they thought that's what was going on. But regardless, it does appear that these kids did indeed steal his tires. It looks like they stole a dozen of them, given the fact that they left one and then they were able to recover one in that pick'em pile there. So that is what we know right now. The tires were indeed stolen by these kids who loaded them up on a four-wheeler around 8 a.m. and drove off with them. So that, if you know anything more about this, I think you should get in contact with Ryan Unzicker. I can try to get in contact with him as well if you know any information. I do think that these people should still be brought to justice. Hopefully there will be maybe some video footage or something at the track. I know that people have like cameras on a lot of their haulers and stuff, so they can see this stuff. Maybe Unzicker and his family will have to invest in some of those cameras so that they can ensure that their stuff isn't stolen. It's a shame that we have to resort to this, but I guess that is the world that we live in now, that people are willing to steal from other people. It's unfortunate that people even think that that is a possibility, let alone do it. But obviously here we see that that is indeed the case. So you got to take measures in order to protect yourselves. And obviously you're not going to be able to prevent everything. Even if you had the cameras, it's not going to stop someone from going there. And there's ways to get around that, etc. But I do think it adds an extra layer of security. And maybe that's something that he and his team will look into. And maybe some of these other drivers will have to look into this as well, because this does seem to be happening more and more often, where we are seeing maybe people going in to the pits when the drivers are out on the track, when the teams are out on the track, they're not paying attention, when they're sleeping, etc., and stealing people's stuff. And that does not need to be happening. And I think proper security needs to be addressed there. So, and I think the drivers can be proactive on that, getting cameras, etc., so they can identify people who are potentially trying to steal from them. But as far as when you can expect Unzicker back on the track, he will be back next month, Farmer City Raceway on July 18th with the Mars late models. You will follow the Mars Tour as it heads back to I-55, where he'll be back at I-55. The Mars will head to I-55 on July 19th, and then Quincy Raceways on July 20th. He will then be at Fairbury for the Flow Racing Night in America on July 23rd, and he will be with the World of Outlaws for the Prairie Dirt Classic on July 25th and 26th. He has been a top competitor everywhere he goes this year, so expect him to be competitive with those Mars late model races in the middle of July, as well as at the Prairie Dirt Classic and in the Flow Racing Night in America. That's my favorite series because you get everyone there. It's so competitive, really hard to make that A main. I mean, you see some of the top guys in the country having to take provisionals to get into those Flow Racing Night in America races. So really looking forward to that. And obviously Prairie Dirt Classic was the best race of the year last year. Going to be hard to top that, but the expectations are extraordinarily high for that race. So looking forward to that as well. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below.